Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Colorado Health Coach. My name is Elizabeth and I am a certified health and life coach located here in Southern Colorado. Before I dive on into today's episode, I would like to discuss my ahas, appreciations, insights for this past week. For those of you who are new, I like to do ahas, appreciations, insights at the end of each, and we just reflect back on the session. So I figured that it would be really cool for me to just reflect back on this past week, and I encourage you all to do so yourself and really discover your own ahas, appreciations, insights for just events that happen to you in your life. Just to slow down and take a moment to appreciate what you do have rather than what you lack. So in regards to this segment, I have a insight specifically that I had, I suppose you could say, on Tuesday going into Wednesday. And I had to come across an old friend, you could say. This individual, she was my best friend in high school. And, we just outgrew each other. I went to college and she didn't, and there was nothing wrong with that. It was just that she and I were on different life paths. And there was no easy way of going about it. And then other things proceeded to happen that just further, in my mind, drew a wedge between us. And I don't really like talking about this person, not because, I dislike her or anything. I don't wish her any ill will or anything in that regards. I just want to move past it and move on to bigger, better things in my life and not dwell on anything, because me dwelling on it doesn't do anything to better myself. It doesn't do anything for me. It's me just sitting there in the negativity. And I would say towards the end it was a toxic friendship even. But this person came back into my life for one day. And, I try to give people the benefit of the doubt, but when they don't change and develop as people and grow for the better, it's just so frustrating. And I appreciate that I can reflect back on this friendship and say that I've grown from this. I've learned from this. It wasn't a waste of time. Yes, it hurt me emotionally. But you know what they say, what doesn't kill you only makes you stronger. And for a while, I didn't have a best friend. I didn't have any close friends like I do now. I'm very close with my roommate. I have gotten closer to coworkers that I currently work with. I've gotten close with coworkers that, I've worked with in the past, and just developed healthier relationships with people. I've learned how to set boundaries and just stand up for myself and really have self-respect. And this individual, unfortunately, didn't understand my boundaries and didn't feel the need to respect them. And, you don't have to deal with people in your life like that. You don't have to. You choose to. And I chose to be with her for, I want to say, 3 years. And, I learned a lot from that. So I don't take any second of it back, because I wouldn't be who I am if it weren't for that little, blimp in my timeline. It did have an impact on me in some way, shape, or form. And I'm appreciative of that, because everything in your life has happened for a reason. And I love this quote by Medea. I'm not going to quote it line for line, but the gist of it is, of course, look it up on YouTube. I love this. It's called Let Them Go. And she compares people in your life to a tree. So there's the leaves, and the leaves are only there for a season. So those are the people that fall away and weren't really meant to stay in your life. So don't cling on to them, because they're only here for a season, and they're leaves, and they're meant to blow away in the wind, fall off, die, and, you're meant to live on. And then there's branches, and branches, they're a little bit more reliable than the leaves, but of course, branches can break too. And then Medea gets down to the roots. And the roots are your close circle of friends that you consider family. They're your ride or dies. You would do anything for them. They do anything for you. Family kind of friendships. And these are the rare friendships that Medea compares to the roots of the tree. And the speech is called Let Them Go. And I encourage every single one of you to just even pause this podcast right now because it's so good. Either pause the podcast right now or go to YouTube after this podcast and type in Medea, Let Them Go. And there's emotional music that plays in the background. I believe it's piano music. And Medea goes on this huge speech about people and them coming in and out of your life. And it is so deep and touching. And it's coming from Medea, She's the queen of doing what we wish we could do. And for her to have that heartfelt moment, Tyler Perry to have that heartfelt moment, it just is so beautiful. So I encourage every single person out there to go and listen to it because it's beautiful. But what I've learned from that and what I learned from my interaction with this person this past week is, I thought she was going to be a root in my life at the time. I was in high school. I was young and dumb and broke, how Khalid sings, what Khalid sings about. I was young and dumb and I had blinders on. And that's the way I thought, I deserved to be treated, and it's not. And it's nothing against this person. It just wasn't the right friendship for me. And I hope she finds a close friendship further down the line. So the lesson I guess I could take away from all of this is, don't feel bad that certain people can't stay in your life. Because would you rather have 100 pennies or 4 quarters? Which one would you rather have? It's not so much about the quantity of friends, it's about the quality. And even though in that friendship, I didn't have a bunch of other friends, the quality wasn't there either. And I guess that's the best advice that I could give to anyone listening, is to take a step back, take off your rose-colored glasses, and really examine the friendship from a third party. Is it healthy? Is it toxic? Is it balanced? Is it a give and take? If not, you need to make some adjustments on your part. If that other person doesn't reciprocate your adjustments, continue with what you've been doing with your adjustments and maybe have a sit-down conversation with them, because I believe every single friendship can be saved and should be saved, just like how they say every single relationship can be saved. But it's just as long as those two people are willing to put in the work, put in the mutual friendship, respect, trust, both in a romantic relationship and, a platonic relationship. There needs to be those 3 pillars there, or else, you don't have a good foundation. And it doesn't work out long term. If you're looking for a lifelong friendship, if you don't do the work, it's not going to last. And it's so sad to say, but some things just aren't made to last. And that's okay too. So I'm sorry I got super deep there for a few minutes. I'm trying to keep it lighthearted and pick it up now. So we're going to be talking about how to stay healthy and still have a social life. So eating out is all about both fun and being sociable. However, eating out is statistically, can't even talk today, wow. However, eating out is statistically linked to overeating and making poor food choices. Today, I'll be going over a few tips and tricks provided by Healthline on what to do to successfully stay healthy while dining out. The first tip they offer is to read the menu before going out. By looking at the menu prior to going out to eat, you're more likely to make healthier choices, rather than being distracted and hungry. Deciding on your meal makes it easier to avoid quick decisions you might regret later. The second tip that Healthline provides us is to eat a healthy snack before you arrive. If you're hungry while you're at the restaurant, you'll likely end up eating way too much. A healthy snack like yogurt or a piece of fruit could make you feel more full and help prevent overeating. The third tip is to drink water before and during the meal. By drinking water and maintaining hydration, you're replacing a potential sugar-sweetened drink, reducing your intake of added sugar and empty calories. A study concluded that individuals who drank 17 ounces of water half an hour before their meal lost 44% more weight versus those who did not. And that is a huge number. That is almost half. That is crazy. Another tip is to ask how food is cooked and prepared. The cooking method used can have a significant impact on the amount of calories it contains. Try and gravitate towards foods that are steamed, grilled, roasted, or poached. Foods that are described as pan-fried, crispy, crunchy, or sautéed usually contain more fat and calories. But don't be afraid to indulge from time to time. Food is not your enemy. Food is fuel, and fuel is good for your body in order to build energy. Don't feel like you have to restrict yourself when it comes to food. Please be able to find that healthy balance for you. Their fifth tip is to try eating mindfully. Mindful eating is making conscious choices about what you consume, and you have your full attention on the eating process, taking your time to savor the aromas and flavors of your meal. This mindset when it comes to eating has been linked with healthier food choices while dining out, also improving self-control and preventing overeating. Another tip is to order your meal before everyone else. By being the first to order at your table, you're preventing others from influencing your meal choice. This influence occurs subconsciously. In social situations, people often mimic each other subconsciously, and dining out is no exception. If you're eating with a group, it's more likely for you to order something that doesn't fit into your healthier ways of eating, so make sure to order first. Another tip to consider is to order 2 appetizers instead of a main course. Several studies have determined that people are more likely to overeat when they're served bigger portions. By ordering this way, you're going to fill up without going overboard with calories. It is also suggested to slow down and chew more. By taking your time while eating, you are prolonging your meal, and as a result are giving your body enough time for your stomach to send messages to your brain, indicating when you're full, which takes between 15 to 20 minutes. A great tip to help slow down while eating is to put your utensil down and breathe in between bites. Nutritionists also recommend avoiding buffets. All-you-can-eat buffets encourage overeating. Everyone is horrible at estimating proportion sizes. Eating the right amount is challenging enough, but when facing a buffet, it's even harder. If you have no other choice but to go to a buffet, stick to smaller plates to control portion sizes. A tip that I personally really like and recommend and have done several times in the past is ask for healthier swaps. Most people don't eat enough vegetables throughout the day. Switching out higher calorie and macro-containing ingredients for vegetables with lots of healthy fiber and nutrients. Increasing veggies also has been linked to a reduced risk of many diseases including cancer, obesity, and depression. By boosting the veggie intake, you're automatically cutting your potential calorie intake in half. I remember, for example, this certain instance where my mother and we normally split meals because, again, the portion sizes while dining out are huge. So if there isn't another person at the table who wants the same dish as you that isn't willing to split it, I would recommend just cutting your meal in half, asking for a box right away, and packaging up half your meal to go home. But anyway, back to the healthy swaps. My mother and I were out to lunch, and normally we split something, which we did that day. I believe it was the California skillet at Village Inn. We not only split the dish, but instead of adding either ham, bacon, or sausage to our skillet, which already contained pork in the green chili that was in there, we opted for fajita veggies, so basically roasted onions and bell peppers, instead of a meat option because we already had meat within the the chili. So we both felt that selecting a meat to add into the rest of the skillet would just be overboard. It would be overkill. So that is what we opted to do, and that is just one simple hack, simple tip that you could use in your own dining experience. You could also ask for sauce and dressings on the side. Condiments and dressings add a lot of extra fat and calories to a meal. By keeping it separated, it'll make it much easier to control the amount consumed. It is also recommended to pass on the bread basket. If the temptation is too hard to resist, ask for them to be packaged to go or send them back. Of course, if you do want one slice of bread, go ahead. Like I said, do not deprive yourself in any way, shape, or form, because that just leads to a binge later on unhealthy foods. So if you just eat slightly unhealthy foods, in small portions here and there, it'll actually be healthier for you in the long run, instead of you just depriving yourself for I want to say maybe days on end, and then on your cheat day, you just go ham and just eat everything that you want to in sight, and you just end up feeling really sluggish and crappy after. So that's just a tip in order to avoid that feeling. It's also recommended to order a soup or salad to start. So we're over here at Olive Garden apparently. Eating something light like a soup or salad before the main meal can help stop you from eating too much. Studies have shown that eating soup before a meal reduces the total calorie intake by 20%. You should also consider sharing with someone or packing up half of your plate to go, because normally at restaurants portion sizes are large. This is simply a way to cut back on calories and prevent overeating. Right when you sit down, you should actually avoid sugary drinks. Many Americans have too much sugar in their diets, resulting in multiple health problems. One major source of excess sugar is sugary beverages, which are considered empty calories. Drinking these beverages on a regular basis are linked to an increased risk of obesity and type 2 diabetes. If you're wanting to make a healthy choice while eating out, choose either water or unsweetened tea. And of course, when it comes to both water and tea, I would highly recommend adding lemons. And if you missed that episode, the very first episode of season 3, I would recommend going back, I want to say 2 episodes, because we talk all about the benefits of lemon water. If you're having a girls' night out or you're just chilling with your guys, I would recommend choosing small amounts of alcohol and mixed drinks. Consuming alcohol can significantly add calories to any meal. The amount of calories all depends on the size of the drink and the strength of the alcohol. When consuming a mixed drink, try mixing the spirits with a non-sweetened drink. Another tip is to opt for tomato-based sauces over creamy sauces. By doing this, you're cutting the fat and calories in half. Choosing a healthier sauce also adds more healthy vegetables to your diet. And the last and final tip I have for you is to focus on your whole diet. At times, you'll eat your favorite foods for pleasure and not worry about if it's healthy or not. And this is strongly encouraged. This is actually the healthiest relationship that you can have with food. Don't be too hard on yourself. Learn to be flexible with your eating habits, finding the perfect balance for your healthy and realistic lifestyle. When you follow healthy meal patterns, majority of the time, and indulge here and there, it won't hurt your overall goal when it comes to health. So now we have finally reached our segment, Life Lessons From, where we take life lessons away from everything pop culture related. So movies, music, TV shows, celebrities, and everything in between. So in the last episode, I mentioned that my roommate and I are in the middle of watching Grey's Anatomy. We are still on season 2, episode 10, maybe 11, I think. I don't really know for sure. But so far, I'm really liking it. I am actually figuring out that love is complicated. It's messy. And that's why it's so beautiful when it works out. Because 2 people are choosing to be together. They're choosing, out of all the people in the world, to love one another exclusively. For most people, it's exclusively. And I'm just loving this whole dynamic between Dr. Shepard. If you don't know the show, go ahead and skip over this part. But I'm loving the dynamic between Dr. Shepard, his wife, and Meredith Grey. Because love is complicated, and, it's worth fighting for, and it's just a beautiful thing. And even if you love someone, that doesn't mean that you're going to end up with them, and that doesn't mean that they're going to choose you, even if they do love you. And, that's just the way life works sometimes, and you have to just dust your heels off and move on, as hard as it can be. But by all means, take as much time as you need with your own healing process, because only you know when you're ready to get back out there. So far, that is what I have learned, the major thing I've learned so far from Grey's Anatomy. There's so much drama, oh my goodness. I'll give you updates later, probably in a month or two. But yeah, if you have any questions, health and wellness related, please feel free to email me at elizakingcoaching@gmail.com. That is Eliza, E-L-I-Z-A, King, K-I-N-G, coaching@gmail.com. Or if you're interested in one of my one-on-one or group programs, please check out my website, www.elizakingcoaching.com. And remember to drink your water this Thirsty Thursday and every day until the next episode. Until then, stay thirsty. Bye.